So I was talking about this special mini game review in the end of my Freakfest review video, and that special game review is going to be indeed in celebration of Freakfest, another destruction derby / vehicular combat game. One of my all-time favorite game series, Carmageddon Max Damage, is my special mini review. And what can I say about the game? Well, first of all, it's a very nostalgic game series for me. I've played the original Carmageddon on my cousin's PC back in mid 90s, and I absolutely fell in love with that game. It was just so fun, so crazy, and just over the top. And if you don't know what Carmageddon is all about, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So you race in the kind of areas which are different themed areas. There are cities, forests, snow mountains, etc. And you can pretty much free drive, free roam in those areas, and your focus is either you can freely decide if you want to wreck and destroy all the other enemy cars, or, which is much more boring, just drive through checkpoints for some amount of laps, for like 3 laps, going through checkpoints in right order. And then there's basically the third option, to kill all the humans in the area. And that's the most difficult, because you have to kill every one of those, and there are usually there are hundreds and hundreds of humans free roaming the area. So of course my favorite is, of course, and the game focuses on that, is destroying all the other cars. And by then you use the power-ups that you find in the barrels in the arena. There are dozens of power-ups, like mines that you can leave behind you, and the kind of and the springs that launches from your cars towards the enemy cars, and also towards humans roaming the streets and paths and whatnot. There are so many power-ups, and they are very varied. And of course, one of my favorite, you kind of metal armor, you are extra strong, you are basically invincible, and your ramming causes extra damage, so you can basically just ram through the objects and cars, and they just explode. And so that's basically the basic idea of Carmageddon. And now specifically talking about the latest game of the series, the Max Damage, which was released back in 2016 for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So it's 3-year-old game, but I really fucking love this game. So this basically, you can say it's a kind of remake of the original 90s Carmageddon, of course, with not like a remake that has the same arenas, and this has all new arenas, but it's very much like the 90s Carmageddon, and many of the power-ups are also the same as in the original, but what this does have much more is than the original had is game modes. So there's, for example, game modes apart from those that I already said. Fox and Hounds is like you have to tag the highlighted enemy car, and then you're highlighted and the counter goes down from, I think it was 2 or 3 minutes, and you have to avoid getting contact with other cars. If they manage to contact and touch your car when you're highlighted, your counter stops, and that who touched you, that car will get, the counter begins to go down, and the winner is whose counter goes to 0 from 3 minutes, I think, or something. So that's one of my favorite game modes, and there's one pretty much the classic deathmatch. Whoever frets like some targeting amount of number of cars, let's just say like 10 cars, wins the race or wins the match. Whoever destroys 10 cars first. And there's one interesting game mode. Only one human is highlighted, and it has a kind of beam towards the sky, so you can navigate your arena towards the beam, and there's one human target, and every car just goes towards that beam and that human target, and whoever kills that human, some other human in the arena gets highlighted, and you have to go there. So it's a really fucking great mayhem causing mode, because every car is just going through that one target, and whoever kills, kind of, let's say the same 10 humans wins the match. And there's so many more game modes that are in this game that was not in the original, and and also, like I said, in the original, this also has themes in the arena, like city. There's city map, forest map, there's snowy mountains map, there's like a oil refinery map, and specific. There are also much smaller arenas, because those main arenas, they are really huge. I'm not talking about you know, if a snowy mountain, it's not just a little area, it's very very big arena, so you can just do what you want, find power-ups. That's my thing. I find power-ups before I find other cars to destroy them by using power-ups usually, because that's the more efficient way than just, of course you can also just ram the opponent cars, but it's more efficient when you use the power-ups, you know, the kind of offensive power-ups like mines and stuff like that. And so there are a smaller kind of round areas which are more like a destruction derby arenas kind of. But I really like the larger arenas. They give you so much more freedom to do whatever you want in the arena. And the carrier mode is really the main focus in this game. I think there's only really the carrier mode and the online mode, and of course you can race exhibition races and matches also, but the carrier mode is you just you gain points by ramming and destroying other cars and other stuff, killing humans along the way, doing stunts. Of course there's huge jumps in many of the levels, and you can just do you know, spirals corkscrews in the air, and you get stunt points by that. And at the end of the race you use those points to unlock other arenas and other game modes and matches towards the end. And I think there's was there 15 or 20 kind of chapters, you can call them, once you finish the carrier mode, you go through all of those. And usually one chapter has like 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 different game modes. Classic death matches, fox and hounds, and those that I already mentioned. But you can always go back and play those chapters, whatever order you like. So the carrier mode is really deep, and it's quite a long. I have already played this game many tens of hours. Like, I would say I have played this maybe 100 plus hours, or something like 70 or 80 hours, and I'm still going through the carrier. I'm at the end of the carrier, of course, but yeah, about the graphics, graphics are just okay. Some of the arenas look better than the others, but overall it's a okay looking game, but it really doesn't focus on graphics. The driving itself and the collision physics, and it's really good. It's not in the realism of Wreckfest. This is much more arcade in the physics model, but it's still really good. Cars really show the damage and parts just fly all over. Not in a way that Wreckfest, of course, shows that, but it's much more detailed. The destruction is much more detailed in Wreckfest, but yeah, the driving itself is good. I think controls are good, sounds are good. Mainly audio focuses and soundtrack focuses on industrial metal is really a main music theme in this game, I would say. But there's also pure electronic tracks, but which sound quite violent, let's say a violent kind of electronic music, which really fits this game. Yeah, and yeah, like I said, this only has carrier mode and online mode, so I forgot to say, but this doesn't have, like Wreckfest, doesn't have unfortunately a 2-player split screen, so that's a really shame. It would have been so much fucking fun to have a couch multiplayer split screen. But I think that's pretty much it about this. This is the game that I always come back for. It might be months that I don't play this game, but I'm not ever going to sell this game. I always come back to this game. It's just one of my favorite racing games, and I just never I never get tired of this. I always come back to this, and I'll give this game 8.5 out of 10. Carmageddon. If you haven't heard of this game and are interested in buying this and playing, I highly recommend. You can get this from digitally from PlayStation Store at 20 euros. I think it's $20 and pounds also in British and US currency. And many times this is also in discounted price, so you can even get this for 5 euros or something. But yeah, I'll definitely recommend you to get this if this review was interesting for you, and hearing about this game raised your interest. I really recommend Carmageddon Max Damage. Buy it. If you like destruction, you won't be disappointed. I almost promised that. But now I'm out, and see you in the next video, whatever it is. Bye.